We're back. We're back. We're back. We're back. All right. Let's see. Can everybody hear me? All right. Okay. No spoilers in the chat. Just let me know if everybody can hear me. All right, sounds fine according to the chat, so here we go. A lot of people have been saying that this is something to watch out for. I have been staying away from spoilers. I've been staying away from the internet. I've been staying away from everything. So let's see what we're dealing with here. Let's see what the craziness we're going to get into. All right. Once again, let's keep the spoilers out of the chat. I don't know what's happening this chapter, so. All right. Sounds fine. Check the chat again in a couple of minutes. But according to this, everybody says that they can hear me. I realized I was muted at the beginning. But I think I fixed it, so. All right. All right. All right. Chapter 1007, Tanuki-san. All right, so we got a chopper-centric chapter here. Okay, I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it. We got Caesar with some penguins. You know, that's great. I'm going to put the OST on in my ear for me. As always, not going to read everything out, but, you know, we're going to talk about it as we go, and we're definitely going to talk about it once it's over. Okay, all right. All right, all right, all right, all right. I'm on page 1 here. Pagey 1. So most of the Oniwabanchu and the Mimawari Gumi are taken out. Hyogoro the goat. All right, all right. I'm on page 2 now. They're about to take out Hyogoro. This guy's taking forever to do the slash. Oh no, Boss Omasa. Alright, we're on page 3 now. Queen's a savage. You're questioning me? Alright, he just transformed. Ooh. Really savage. You could say it was created specifically for you guys. They're only good for a laugh. Okay. There are not any more smiles coming. Queen's declaration here might turn some people around. These people might not like the idea of knowing that they are meant to die. The translators missed the opportunity to to say that he's too cold. Okay. I think I'm on the next page now. Queen's doubting our boy. Can't wait for Viz to translate this, the title of this chapter as Mr. Raccoon Dog. Next page. Queen continues to doubt Chopper. A lot of Chopper hype here. Bet he's already taken the antibody himself and bolted. Nah, that's not Chopper. We know that, though. Alright. And then this guy's taken about as long as Goku's taken to, you know, throw the spirit bomb at Frieza to take this slash. This is gonna get dragged out heavy in the anime. Boom. Chopper. I just got to like the cutesy Chopper face. And Chopper did take the antidote. Alright. And he put something in Hyogoro's mouth, so this is you know exactly what we talked about last week. Right before he gets slashed, Chopper's gonna come in because Hyogoro he's got to die in front of Luffy or something. He can't die from that way. All right. A cannon. Oh, look at this. Look at this. It's just like the end of Drum. Shooting out of a cannon. But it's got a little face in it. I love it. I love it. It'll be even better if in the anime it's like, you know, like a pink. I analyzed the virus, synthesized my own counter-virus based on your methods. It's your virus against mine. How did a second-rate pirate like you acquire such medical expertise? Alright, Chopper, come on. This is that Chopper hogback moment that I wanted, you know, with Queen. So this is cool. Look at that. Look at that. They're protecting Chopper. All right, I'm on the next page. Chopper slap. Let's go. All right, all right, all right. Oh, okay, so he was able to slap him because Marco held him down. Dr. Team Up. Look at Marco. Now give him your best shot. I'm still on this slap page. I love it. This is great. And then these faces. Finally, you know, I can just hear them already. You know, the Tanuki janai slap. That's what it's going to sound like when it comes to the anime. Alright, next page. Yamato and Shinobu. Everyone's expecting so much. This man Momonosuke just popped out of his dragon form right out of Yamato's shirt. This is you know, there's a lot of stuff that happened this chapter, but that's the thing that people are probably going to like colorize and put on the internet. All right, next page. Oh, let's go, baby. CP0. Let's go, let's go, let's go. This is what I'm talking about. Let's go. Oh, we're going to get some information on the Momonosuke fruit. It was ruled a failure. Well, there's got to be more to this scene than just that. I was just thinking it's fortunate that the experiment was a failure, that's all. Okay. Next scene, next page. Oh, are we in the storeroom? Okay. Okay. Now the scabbards are getting up, huh? What? I think you know what I'm looking at now, guys. What? What? Okay. Okay. What? I'm gonna come over and look at this chat. Okay, wow. Chat's going crazy right now. RandyTroy.exe has stopped working. Oh man, that's true. That's big true. I'm seeing a lot of people saying that it's Katarina Devon. That I highly doubt. The only thing that makes sense to me is that Conjuro drew him right now. Now, let's see. Some people are saying Onimaru. I mean, Onimaru can obviously transform, but I doubt that it would be Onimaru, because I feel like the transformation that they did into Gyukimaru is probably the only transformation that they're gonna do. Enigma Sword. Thanks for the super chat. The word Tanuki is now the T word. Yeah, definitely. And let's see. And for the super chat, of course, you get a. Oh, we need to up the volume here. Savage. All right. Wow, we got 510 people in here right now. This is crazy. We haven't had this many people since like 1,000. We got I'm D King in here. How's it going, Zach? People are saying Onimaru and Hiyori. I don't know. I'll look back on it and I'll decide. You know, I mean, is there a signifier to something that we saw on Gyukimaru that is on Odin? Because I mean, I didn't analyze it enough yet to like see if there's something there. For me, it's got to be Kanjuro, like he drew him. Now, as far as like getting his voice down and all of that, like, I mean, I don't understand how his art would be able to do that, but yeah. Now here's a good one. Foxy or Gin. Yeah, it could be either of those guys. Got Gustavo here. Hey, buddy, how's it going? Galaxy, I know you want Blackbeard and Wano. I know you want him in Wano. And, I mean, he really should come. He should, because he's likely got Moria with him. You know, is there a signifier to this that, you know, we saw on Katarina Devon? I mean, I don't necessarily see that. Let me hit some of these super chats. We got Jim Phoenix, thank you. Savage. Toki, but you are not going to die, are you? Odin, wahaha, that's my wife. Yeah. I mean, this man did get shot in the face, though. Just saying, he got shot in the face. And there was, like, no scarring or oil burns all over his body. Like, the man really should look like Two-Face. But or One Face. Loggy Doggy, my guy. Savage. The scabbards have died and are going to heaven. Yeah, I can see that. We got Evo Warrior over here. Savage. CP0 dialogue definitely sus. Hyping up Momo's fruit hard. Will he age? About Odin, many options. Conjurer drawing, Onimaru, Devon, doubt that one. Yeah, I'm leaning towards Conjurer drawing right now. Definitely hyping up Momo's fruit, for sure. And the fact that we have Momonosuke popping up out of Yamato's chest as a dragon now clues in Yamato that He's got the dragon fruit. Lets Shinobu know about it, but that's not as important as Yamato knowing, because Yamato knows the mechanics of Kaido's fruit. So this is what's going to lead us to the potential of Momonosuke actually utilizing the fruit the way that that Kaido's been utilizing it, which is holding Onigashima up, right? So now, I know a lot of people don't like this idea, and Oda's going to find a way to do it if he indeed goes in this direction. But, I've talked about this a lot, but I think that, to buy time for the people of Wano to get away from the capital as Onigashima gets closer, that Momonosuke is going to put, like, 1,000,000 flames underneath Onigashima to combat Kaido's, 4, 5, 10 flames that it takes him to hold it up. And that's just because when we learned about Kaido's flames, when he lifted Onigashima in the first place, Yamato was the one there to tell Momonosuke. We found out at the same time Momonosuke did. We learned it as he learned it. It was important for him to learn it. That's a storytelling technique. It's a storytelling device. So that's why I feel so strongly that that's going to come back, that he's going to be able to use those flames in some sort of fashion. Yamato, knowing their father's fruit in and out, is going to be able to walk Momonosuke through this. Someone said Will of Podin. Oh, man. We had another super chat from Tenyasha, the Heavenly Demon here. Savage. Do you think Odin could be Kanjuro's painting? The animals he drew all came to life, and now we know he actually paints really well. And says he spent his life with Odin. His painting acts as he remembers him. Yeah, I mean that's exactly where I'm at with this. This is definitely not Odin. Like I said, like 2 minutes ago, Odin was shot in the face. He's dead. He's dead. Tonito 60187. Savage. Is it Bartolomeo? Maybe. I mean, Bartolomeo can't change his face. Is there a different character maybe that you're thinking of? I mean, it's not Bon Clay or anything like that. I think we've talked about all of the potentials. Demon Gunner 7. He also has his normal swords. Sounds like something Kanjuro missed. Yeah, so that's something that I also picked up on when I was reading it, but I hadn't mentioned yet, was that he has his swords with him. But they're not, obviously not Enma and Ame no Habakiri. They're just regular swords. They don't have the same hilts or anything. So that's kind of a giveaway there. What if Caribou can somehow change his bone structure and appear to become Odin? That's an interesting guess, that he can do that with the mud, but I highly doubt that, and Caribou has no motivation for that. And he didn't know Odin, so I don't think that. But I mean, people are definitely coming up with different ideas. But I'm Team Kanjuro's painting for sure right now, until someone can convince me otherwise. Lucy B, thank you. Savage. Fake Odin also said, you have all aged, but Kinemon didn't age. Sounds suspicious. Yeah. Yeah, you've all aged quite a bit. Yeah, well, for Kinemon and the guys, they did age about 3 months, so maybe they got a couple of gray hairs dealing with everything that's happened post time skip with the guys. There's a theory which says that Toki and Odin came to the future during when he was in the prison after his defeat. Then after the raid, Odin will go back and die for the cycle to go on. So that is... I get that. You know, there's... when you do that, you complicate things a lot. And this is coming from someone who loves time travel stuff. You know, like my favorite movies are like Terminator, Back to the Future, all of that. Odin has created a like Terminator 1 style time travel thing where, you know, you go into the future and that's it. There's no going back. You know, there's no the same way that in Terminator, Kyle Reese did not have a time machine to take him back to the future or anything like that. Like, he just went to the past, that's it. In this situation, you can only go to the future. Toki even said that you can't go into the past, because then a lot of things get muddied in that situation. At that point, you know, why doesn't Toki just go and, you know, bring Roger also, you know, to the future so that he can, you know, if he was too early, send him, you know, to when he was, you know, things get way too complicated. So I'm not going to even entertain that this is the real Odin, that Toki went and, you know, sent him into the future and then will send him also back to the past so that he will die and fulfill this circle, because if that's the case, just let Odin live. Why does he ever need to die? Because then you get into this situation of, was that really Odin holding them up in the pot? Was that a Kanjuro drawing? You know, is Kanjuro a triple agent? You know, like these are the rabbit holes that people are probably going to go down, and I'm going to take it for what it is. Kanjuro's bad. If he does, you know, have some sort of a moment where he, you know, comes back, it'll be at the very end for a little bit of redemption before he dies, but it'll never redeem anything that he does. And this has to be a Kanjuro drawing. It's got to be. That's I don't know. I mean, that's what I'm sticking with. Would it be interesting if it was Katarina Devon? Sure, but then Katarina Devon also would have to have known Odin. So, and then, you know, we would need a flashback of Katarina Devon, you know, like meeting Odin at some point tangentially while he was, you know, riding around with Whitebeard or Roger to, you know, be able to make that that clone, unless they were looking at his old bounty. You know, and that's why the outfit doesn't, you know, match at the bottom, because the bounty probably only had the top half. There's a lot of rabbit holes to go down. You know, Blackbeard showing up for this fight makes sense because of the whole Moria scene and because he was in that, you know, the act break and all of that. But sometimes the easiest answer is the right one. And the easiest answer here is Kanjuro was not defeated. And he made an Odin clone. But then the other thing, too, is that I think that there was some sort of an implication during the Kanjuro fight that we missed, where it was like somewhat implied that maybe he had like made an Odin clone and forced them to fight him or something. I'm trying to remember. But then, you know, you wouldn't expect this reaction here because everybody would be skeptical about seeing Odin. We got another super chat. Let me see here. Julius Elias, thank you again.
Savage.
Could have sworn the person who healed them was female, though. Totally was. So, that's another thing. Odin showing up here right now has nothing to do with the silhouette from a couple of chapters ago, because that was not Odin's face. That, in my opinion, that is still a female thing. It's not out of the realm that Toki is actually there, and if she reveals herself, she'll be able to tell before anyone that that's not actually Odin. So you're right on the money there, Julius. That's I still feel that Toki's still in play here. Zach, you're right. I'm the king. Blackbeard did meet Odin. He certainly did. But is that enough for Katarina Devon to have known? So yeah, I mean, like, obviously Blackbeard knew Odin when he was a kid, but the idea here is that Katarina Devon would have to know. And I'm liking the. I mean, if it, I'm not really. I don't really want to go down the rabbit hole of Katarina Devon too much. But if it is, then either we're getting a flashback where they had met, or she was just going off of the bounty poster, and that's why there's some inaccuracies in the style of dress. Kazuto asks, why would Kanjuro help them? Kanjuro didn't help them. If you look at that, if you look at the panel from, what was it, 1004? It was 1004, right? Or was it 1005 when we had the silhouette? It's a small female. It's Toki or Hiyori. That's it. Like, if it was Odin, when we saw the silhouette, it would have been the same size or bigger than Kinemon and all that. We know that Odin is like a huge dude. MD King said it's worse than Pell if it's Odin. Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. But it's not. There's no way it's really Odin. There's no way. There's no way it's really Odin. The Devon plot is just interesting because Blackbeard does stay in the know, plus a potential Shiryu connection to Wano as well. Yeah, I mean, if we're going off of the whole thing with King and Shiryu having the same style of dress and all of that, I'd be interested in a meeting between Shiryu and King to understand what that garb is, if it actually is some sort of impelled down thing or not. Yeah, super chat here.
Savage.
Crudword. Could it be a hallucination? Considering they're all beat up and their brains are probably damaged. would be ironic if they were looking at Yamato. Interesting. Would that be the case? So now I'm looking back at what Yamato is wearing and then looking at what this Odin is wearing to see. And the style of the markings on the chest are different. Obviously there's the Kazuki moon crest on this Odin, but Yamato's garb has a different symbol. That'd be kind of cheap if it was a hallucination. And I'm looking at this silhouette, and it's like the silhouette almost looks like a silhouette of Kanjuro. Right, just from like the shoulders and the dress and the swords at the same height and angle of where Kanjuro has his paintbrush usually. It's Kanjuro, guys. It's like a last screw you to these guys from Kanjuro. Sachin says, Kanjuro's playing with their minds, making them fight their loved ones like Odin, Toki, Yasuie. Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty much what I feel is going on here. AJ1218, my guy, sorry I'm late. Who do we think the fake is? It's a Kanjuro clone. It's a Kanjuro drawing. You know, I wish I could say it was more than that for everybody, but that's what we're going with here. We know that Kanjuro. All right, so Kanjuro died way too easily for these things to happen. You know, it's like it was so off-screened that of course we're going to get more with Kanjuro. And initially, at some point, what I was saying in a lot of my older videos was that we were going to go back, find out more about what happened with that Kanjuro stuff later on, and this could tie into that. Lucy B, thank you again.
Savage.
Could it be a ninja with a disguise technique? That would be an extremely advanced technique that would match devil fruits. That would be incredible. And I don't think that that's what it is. Because then it would be like, why do you need the Mane Mane no Mi? Or Katarina Devon's fruit? Because if you can just learn ninjutsu and change like that. The only other thing that I could think of, if it's not, any of the things we're talking about, would have to tie into some sort of folklore. Because like people are talking about Onimaru and all of that. Onimaru is a folklore in itself. So anything that's like really unexplained is because most people outside of Japan don't really know about the folklores. But off the top of my head, I can't think of anything that would, disguise someone into Odin right now. So, yeah. Let's see. Louis Sharman said, I think it's Kanjuro because him attacking the Scabbards as Odin, who the Scabbards adore, is perfect, especially if some of them die. It could be the tragedy we've been looking for. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I can totally see a scene where, they start to accept Odin into the room, and he takes one of those swords that he has and, like, runs it through, say, like, Kinemon's chest or something. And, that image is something I could totally see happening. That Kanjuro uses this drawing to kill one of the Scabbards, and that their last breath is looking at Odin killing them. That'd be pretty tragic. Tanner Padilla. I'm Team Toki, based on what Kawamatsu said when he was waking up. I think he would have claimed it was Lady Hiyori that healed him. Yeah. Kawamatsu's dialogue also, for me, made it very apparent that it was Toki as well. I vaguely remember catching a glimpse of a familiar face, but it had to be a dream. There's no way it was real. Yeah. So that kind of tells me it's Toki, and then this is the misdirection that Oda wants you to think, is that Kawamatsu's talking about Odin. But that's not who he's talking about, because even then you can see that Kawamatsu is one of the specific people that actually has a bubble over his face and, a surprise. And this surprise makes me think that he's seeing this for the first time. person who healed them and this Odin are two different people. And I'm going to start calling him Foden, because he's fake Odin. He's not real. Tonito 60187.
Savage.
But if it is a Conjurer clone, what's the point? Is Conjurer redeeming himself, or does he hate the Scabbards that much to play mind games with them? The second part. He hates them so much that he's playing mind games with them. Yeah, that's what makes him a foe to be reckoned with. Is because he knows them so well that he can psychologically attack them. Because he may not be stronger than most of them. But by using a fake Odin, he can come in, he can take one or two of them out, and it's an attack that's really only going to work once. And we've seen Oda do stuff like this before. This is no different than Bon Clay using, the face of Nami to fight Sanji. So there's elements of this to go back into the story and call back. I can see why people probably think that it's Katarina Devon, because this is very similar to the scene that we saw during the act break with Absalom. There's that same level of excitement. Moria sees Absalom, gets all excited, and then nope, Katarina Devon. So there might be something to that, but there hasn't been enough foreshadowing within Onigashima itself to say that. That's why I'm leaning more towards a Conjurer clone. Conjurer drawing, I mean. Odin Force Ghost. Very motivated. Galaxy, I know you want Blackbeard there. I'd like to see it too. I just don't know. I think this is Conjurer. Natty Light. How's it going? Conjurer kills or injures one of them, then Orochi comes back, and it's Orochi versus the Scabbards. Yeah, we could see something like that. I think Orochi's going to play a little more of a role than that. If Orochi comes back, it's going to make more sense that he has some sort of a scene with CP0 to begin with, because he was initially tied to them at the beginning. I want Momonosuke and Hiyori involved in whatever happens to Orochi. I think that Zoro should be there as well. I mean, the way that Orochi dies, it makes sense to me. He's got, 7 heads now. That there are 7 people cutting all of the heads off at once, and that's how they get rid of him. But we still need to get that confirmation of Kurozumi Otama. We need that confirmation that Tama is Orochi's daughter. And just big shout out to everybody in here. We still have almost 550 people in here. We've been going for a little bit. This is great. Another super chat. HPJ 3-1.
Savage.
Where did Toki go? And how would Kanjuro know where the Scabbards are? If Kanjuro wanted to kill them, why wait until they were all healed? So I think everybody knows where the Scabbards are based on the transmission that Bao Long did. It was pretty well known. I mean, Jack knew where they were and was having a conversation with Black Maria about it. So I think it was broadcasted to everybody where they were. If Kanjuro wanted to kill them, why wait until they were all healed? Well, I think it would be, it takes time from wherever Kanjuro was to get there. Probably there was enough time before they actually found where the Scabbards fell to where, Toki could have gotten in and out. Where did she go? I mean, I think it's pretty clear that she doesn't want everybody to know that she's there. likely. Oda's holding that reveal, that moment. There's got to be something involving the prophecies and all of this that, she's trying to stay in the sidelines about. Alakos. Folklore theory, there is a werewolf called Lang Ren that can shapeshift. Also a fox called Yuli Ying. That was usually a young, attractive woman. Maybe. Until it happens, we won't be able to see the exact way that Oda does it before, we can compare it to some other things. Aiko Warazu-chan, we need more info. Why is Devon called the Crescent Hunter? That's interesting, because obviously, the Kazuki clan, they have the Crescent crest. Bernardo Japert. They definitely are not healed. Tokyo Hiyori just probably stopped the bleeding. Yeah, I mean, these guys got wrecked by Kaido. It's not like they're, at full health right now. So when we talk about that they're healed, it's mostly that they're standing up, not that they're, really, really ready to go back into full battle. They're still very weak. Still very, very weak. But, we've been talking about this Odin stuff for a while, and I mean, obviously, because this thing is ridiculous, but, there's some other stuff in the chapter that I want to address, because I'm pretty positive that this is a drawing. So, a lot of the beginning of the chapter was very slow. I don't necessarily care about a lot of these samurai. Let's see. And I just know that the anime is going to really, really drag out this Hyogoro stuff. Because they dragged out the fake death of Hyogoro at Udon, there was a lot of really good characterization for Queen, though. Showing that Queen is actually, extremely evil. And a pretty decently crafted villain by Oda. But, Chopper comes in. It's great. Love that moment. Chopper saving everybody. Now Chopper, got a big hit in on Queen. I think that there's probably going to be... I want someone other than Chopper in this series that has a Zoan to eat a Rumble Ball. That's been a question since, for almost 20 years. What if someone else ate a Rumble Ball that has a Devil Fruit? Some people ask, what would it do to somebody who has, Paramecia or a Logia? But as far as like a Zoan goes, what would happen here? But I think right now we might get a little bit of a Marco Chopper tag team. It seems that Chopper actually has done pretty well healing everybody. So I thought that he was just going to continue doctoring the whole battle. But he may actually fight. Is he going to beat Queen? Absolutely not. And that's a good opportunity for someone like Sanji to finally come in and save our boy here and give the fight that a lot of people want. I'm not personally pro Sanji versus Queen. I see the foreshadowing. I see that it would be, a good fight for him. It would be a good character moment. I just would rather see him fight Perospero or even Jack. There's a couple super chats, so let me check these out. Brandon King.
Savage.
Hiyori with an illusion fruit fakes Odin's look. An illusion fruit. I don't necessarily see the purpose of that. I mean, it would be, the interesting part of that thought is just Hiyori trying to remember what her father looks like, and she, being as young as she was, wouldn't be able to get all the intricate details of his clothes right. But, maybe she just remembered his face. He seems a little more, jacked than, we remember, his biceps are really bulging in that image. So I don't think that there is an illusion fruit. I don't think that that's the case, but, there's something about that. Sergey 1500.
Savage.
Thank you. Chopper using a rumble ball in front of Queen is going to be used against him at some point, especially if he continues using them or overdoses. Yeah, that's what I want to see. I want to see this, this rumble ball stuff, finally have someone else in the series take it, and then we could actually have a moment where Queen overdoses on it. Chopper knows that you shouldn't eat more than 3, but Queen doesn't. What if Queen eats 5? And then that's how Queen, gets taken out. And then here comes Cotton Candy Lover Chopper taking out a second Yonko commander. Finally, he'll get the respect he deserves from the government. Daniel Bello. What if this new Odin is one of Kanjuro's drawings? I've been talking about that for about 40 minutes. That is what I believe. Absolutely. AJ1218, my guy, thank you. Vivi versus Queen. Don't ask me how, but I want that. Also, hit the like button. Yeah, go ahead, hit that like button, guys. If it brings Vivi into the story, I'm all about it, AJ. That's my girl right there. Heretic Verma, are you wearing a Gotham Season 5 t-shirt on your sleeve? Yeah, I got this when I worked on the series. I did a couple of seasons of the show. Good catch. I didn't think the shirt was even showing in the image. Giovanni Velez says, AJ, why Vivi? Why not Vivi? Okay, always Vivi. The answer to why Vivi is always yes, Vivi. More Vivi. Camelot, 150 berries after this fight. Yep. Oh, yeah. Chin, of course I'm biased. Alright, I want Vivi back in the story. HPJ, 3-1, thank you again.
Savage.
Vegapunk experimented with Kaido's Devil Fruit to create an artificial Devil Fruit, which was on Punk Hazard. CP0 scene comes after Momo Dragon form. Momo has that Devil Fruit. Yeah, so that's so let's talk about this CP0 scene, because that's everybody's going to talk about this Odin stuff, and if I do a review this week, which I'm sure I will, I'm probably going to spend 3 minutes tops on the Odin stuff. There's a lot of other things to talk about here. So this scene to me is strange. Because it will, first of all, it confirms a theory within the community that Vegapunk did experiment on Kaido during one of his times that he was captured, because we know that Kaido was captured, like 15 times, whatever, defeated, 18 times, whatever the breakdown was given when we first met Kaido, when he was jumping off the Sky Island. But yeah, we never got complete confirmation that the fruit actually came from Kaido or from his lineage factor or anything like that. But that's been on Reddit for years and all of that, and this is the confirmation for that. So the fruit that was in Punk Hazard that Momonosuke ate was a fruit that Vegapunk created, that he took DNA from Kaido, took his lineage factor, created an alternate artificial devil fruit based on the devil fruit that Kaido had already eaten, but they considered it a failed experiment. And they just left it on Punk Hazard. And when the explosion happened that Caesar created that, blew up the island, which is why no one was on it, and why they even thought to have Aokiji and Akainu fight on the island because no one was on it anymore. They thought that thing was already long gone. But no, it survived Caesar's initial explosion. And then Caesar continued to stay on Punk Hazard and, use that facility for his own means. But Momonosuke ate that fruit. He ate a fruit that was built from Kaido's DNA. So, and that goes into, these, the stuff of identity that I was talking about in the Tama Theory video that I was saying. And that, here Momonosuke is struggling to live in the shadow of his father, but he also has the outward appearance when he transforms of his enemy and the person who killed his father. And now, on top of that also, not only does he have his own father's DNA running through his veins, it's confirmed that he has Kaido's DNA running in his veins also. So technically, he's like Kaido's son now too. Not precisely, but like as when he turns into a dragon, yeah. So, but the part that confuses me the most in this, and I may just need the official on Sunday to really dive into this CP0 scene a little more. But it's just the last thing, because it's like the guy just sort of like says it offhand. There's no punch to this. There's almost no reason for the scene other than to confirm what we've been thinking for years. It's almost superfluous. It's like it seems oddly out of place. Especially for such a good writer as Oda to just kind of haphazardly throw in this reminder without any sort of payoff. So I'm assuming that the payoff for that is going to come. Obviously, because it follows the scene where Momonosuke transforms, it's like filler. It's a reminder that the fruit existed, that is what, but with a confirmation inside of it that lets us know exactly what Momonosuke is dealing with, and lets us know that whatever Kaido can do, Momonosuke can do. I think that that's the purpose of the scene. Very motivated.
Savage.
Thank you. I love Hirolik's influence on Chopper in this chapter. Cure by cannon fire. I also say if someone else gets a Rumble Ball upgrade, it should be X Drake. I would love that. That would be awesome. Seeing X Drake, now I'm imagining like a guard point X Drake. That would be wild. And because of how stoic X-Drake is, if he like ends up with some like weird transformation that just looks ridiculous, that would be great. That'd be great. But yeah, Hero Look is a goat. My favorite flashback character for sure. When Does a Man Die? But I immediately caught that influence when I saw that page. The cannon fire, the aerosol cure. That's really a full circle moment for Chopper, and it's awesome. Realistically, my favorite part of the chapter. Just that. That is my favorite moment in the chapter. That cannon fire was used to dispel the cure, and the little happy face on it. I hope the color is pink. And I'm waiting for the day that Chopper finds that the sakura trees that Hero Look was talking about. I'm waiting for that. Jack says, yeah, Vivi can show Queen what a real queen should be doing. That'd be great. Nope. I think the implication is that Vegapunk lied to the world government saying that it was a failure, even though we see that it works fine. Vegapunk seems like a good guy. Yeah, it's very possible. It's very possible, because we obviously know that the fruit works. I could see a scene where, like, Momonosuke eats a rumble ball, and like that's what gives him some extra power and like boost to do some of the kind of unlock some of the powers that that Kaido has. A lot of people are saying Monster Point X Drake in the chat. What's up, Jeeker? I think that the Monster Point thing is actually because of Chopper's fruit, though, because Chopper has the human fruit, and I look at giants as like an extension of the humans. So what I think Chopper's actually doing when he reaches Monster Point is that he's actually activating like whatever giant genes may be in his Hito no Mi, and that's how he's able to get that height. That's what I believe. So I don't think that X-Drake would be able to I don't think X-Drake would be able to unlock a Monster Point per se. Loggy Doggy, my guy.
Savage.
I think the important line, I'm glad it failed, there is some power with the fruit we have not seen yet. Yeah, I mean, that's essentially what I'm talking about, in that whatever Kaido can do, Momonosuke is going to be able to do as well. And I think that it actually adds more credence to the belief that, like Odin held up the scabbards in the Hour of Legends, Momonosuke will match Kaido fire for fire and prevent and hold up Onigashima from landing on the citizens until they're able to get away. Alright, looking back at the chat here. One sec. In which way do you think Momonosuke's fruit is a failure? Is it just weaker? Well, I mean, I think anything would be considered a failure if it's not an original fruit in some way. It may be that there were other versions of it that they tried and gave to people, and there was just no transformation, and then they gave up on it, maybe. It may have been called a failure because they saw the raw power and potential of Kaido's fruit and didn't want it falling into the wrong hands and someone eating it and then actually having that power. So there's there's the possibility for that. George Edwardor, yo, my man Randy Troy, I'm late, but quick recap. What do you think of Odin? It's a Conjuro drawing, bro. That's what it is. There's gonna be a lot of theories and a lot of everything, but it's a Conjuro drawing. And Conjuro's about to probably mess up some of these scabbards and catch them slipping. George Rotaro, I think the failure of Momo's fruit lies in the fact that he can't choose when to transform. Maybe, because we haven't seen him actually control the fruit. And I mean, even in this chapter, it seemed like it was sort of involuntary and just sort of based on Shinobu called him splendid, and he had some sort of a weird reaction to being called splendid. Jamail Daniel, Chopper just flipped the war on its head. Now instead of 30,000 versus 5,400, all the waiters and pleasures around 19,000, plus the samurai and the ninja on the floor all joined the Straw Hats. So it's 500 versus 35,000. Yeah. I mean, and this goes back to 1003 with the Go board. And I was talking about, this scene is because we're about to flip everything on its head. And the two ways that everything is going to get flipped on its head was that Tama was going to subdue and create a gifter army using her dangos, and then Chopper, by healing everybody, has turned everybody to his side by, an act of kindness. Yeah. Things are looking good for everybody right now, but things always look great right before everything goes wrong. Keep that in mind, everybody. Chin says that Conjuro drawing's too predictable. Well, sometimes, like I said earlier, sometimes the easiest answer is the correct one, and this is not. I don't think we have to think deeper than that. Because if it's the real Odin, then there's a problem there. There's a problem there. Galaxy Vita says, what if we see Momo go hybrid form and not Kaido? Yeah, we see Momo's hybrid before Kaido, and that's how we know what Kaido's hybrid's going to kind of look like. That'd be interesting. Well, I think Momo actually has to see Kaido go hybrid to understand what the potential of his fruit is. Very motivated. Okay, but seriously, where do I get the lo-fi chill hop OP remixes Randy is playing? I need to know. So I actually put the link to it in. I don't think it's in the link for this video right here. I'll have to add it afterwards. But if you look at some of the reviews, I credit the artist. His name is Styes Mask, I think, if I'm saying it right. And he's got a couple of different things, and I think he does it for some other animes as well. But, I was looking for a long time, and that guy was, easily the best at it. Sachin Rawat. What if Vegapunk lied to everyone because he didn't want anyone to have that power? If he hid and destroyed it, the world government would have known that it's possible to copy devil fruits and would have mass-produced them. Yeah, so I said something similar to that about 5-10 minutes ago. when someone asks like what made it a failure, and then I said, well, it's possible that Vegapunk is just hiding the truth because Kaido's raw destructive power is just way too much, and they didn't want it to go into the wrong hands. Blob Clock. Why did Momo not become a koi fish? So I think it was. I can't remember if it was confirmed in the chapter, if it was just confirmed in the SBS, but we did learn that the actual distinction, classification for Kaido's fruit is that he's an Azure dragon and he's not actually a koi. But it still is reminiscent of the koi folklore no matter what. So it's... Now, I wanted it to be a koi and actually go that like Gyarados route, Magikarp and all of that, because I eventually wanted like Kaido and Momonosuke to meet again, but Momonosuke in his dragon form, and if Kaido actually had to start his journey with his Devil Fruit as a koi and then had to evolve, because some sort of like traumatic thing happened, whether he was like stuck in the water for years, he was just underwater and he couldn't move, but then he had to will himself, and he like evolved and became a dragon and then was able to like get out of the water because he was so large or something. This is just wild tinfoil hat speculation type stuff, but if he had seen Momonosuke and like, oh, you skipped over the koi phase, like then it's just another instance of something that Momonosuke didn't earn that Kaido would have a problem with. Because there's an element between their interactions where it's like, you're not worthy of any of this. You're not worthy of, your father's name. You're not, he's just disappointed in him. And then that would be an extra layer. But that can still happen, because then, look at it and be like, well, you're not worthy of your father's name, and you're certainly not worthy of my fruit, of my power. You think you can have my power? I expect there to be some sort of we need that dragon meeting dragon moment. We got some super chats. Let's see here.
Savage.
Jao Costa. Hey Randy, big fan here. I'm more into Conjurer drawing, but what if it's a Katarina Devon, where she can't transform who she wants, but transforms into who their foes want to see? It's more dangerous. That's an interesting way to look at Katarina Devon, actually, because if that's the case, then yeah, that would put a little more perspective into that scene between Moria and Absalom. If it was that Moria was the only one that could see Katarina Devon as Absalom, that'd be interesting. But I talked about it much earlier in the stream, that I don't think that it's Katarina Devon. It would be an interesting twist, because it would mean that Blackbeard is there and that Moria is likely there, and Moria should have stake in this fight. But for Oda to reveal this, have this Odin moment be a backdoor Blackbeard reveal, that's I don't see that as Oda's style. Oda would if Blackbeard was there or whatever, he would just let us know, I think. And Katarina Devon, unless she's proven to have some sort of tie to Wano or the Kazuki clan or anything like that, she has nothing to do with this. She's called the Crescent Hunter. The Kazuki clan is the Crescent Moon Crest. So there's that, but I can't really see it being Katarina Devon for any reason. Not that it can't be, but that knowing Oda in the way that he writes, I can't see him using this moment to tell us that Blackbeard is on Wano. Which is why, what makes sense from a narrative standpoint, right? What makes sense is it's a Kanjuro drawing. Because Kanjuro has the narrative line with the scabbards. He's not dead. He wasn't defeated back then. It was probably a drawing of himself, itself. He's a sneaky guy. So now he's going to use this opportunity to actually stab his friends in the back because they're going to be too distracted seeing Odin. It's what it's what they're fighting for. Kanjuro knows this, and he's going to use it to his advantage. So in the next chapter, or the next, or whatever, we're going to get a panel probably very similar to when Squard stabbed Whitebeard. That unexpected moment. But it's going to be this Odin drawing, stabbing Kinemon, Denjiro, somebody. Doji, Kiku. Yeah. That's what I expect. Another super chat from DJ BJ32.
Savage.
When we get information about Odin, it would be a month from now because we will be back on the rooftop for the next couple of chapters. That's a possibility. This is a good... I can see Oda doing that. This is a good point for him to sort of let that kind of continue to marinate and have us all wonder what's going on. I could see Oda actually going to the rooftop again. But also, we still haven't had any blows exchanged between Who's Who and Jinbei, like dedicated panels for it. And I expect to see some more of that fight before we go up. If we go up to the... when we go back up to the rooftop, things are not going to be good for everybody up there. Kaido will have demolished everybody in his hybrid form. I think that's the idea. But it is possible. Demon Gunner 7. Did we go over that the artificial dragon devil fruit is a failure because Momo hasn't proven himself like Kaido must have? So the reason that it's a failure wouldn't be because Momonosuke ate it. It would be a failure because that's the way it was perceived in the way that it was being made, and the way that Vegapunk would have told people that it was a failure or not. People don't know. It's not common knowledge. Even to CP0, I would imagine that Momonosuke has eaten this fruit. Because they're talking about the fruit as if it was blown up on Punk Hazard. They don't know that Momonosuke ate this. They don't know that it actually works or anything like that. But that's what creates a great underdog story for Momonosuke. Because everybody considers this fruit a failure, and Momonosuke himself is looked at as a failure by Kaido. By himself. It's only the scabbards and like Shinobu and all of this that really give him credit, and he has a hard time taking that credit, which is why he transforms in this chapter also. He gets told that he's splendid, which is something that contradicts, his own mental motivations and all of that. So that's why he transforms, because he doesn't see himself that way. When he transforms, he is the image of the man that he hates. He is the image of the man who killed his father. He doesn't want to look into a mirror. So and that's the identity theme that has been rampant through Wano, coursing and surging through Momonosuke. So he has to come to terms with that. He has to come to terms with that he does have this fruit, and he has to make the best of it, and he has to show that eventually he can do better things with it than Kaido ever did. In his lifetime. Jamal Daniel. Queen is the MVP of the alliance. Low key. Miles Claiborne. It's crazy how much influence Punk Hazard has had on the story. Punk Hazard was a setup arc entirely. That's why it's, it was a hard arc to get through weekly, because you just know when it's a setup arc that it's like none of this stuff is gonna, especially with Oda, it's like none of this is gonna pay off for years. And there are things in Punk Hazard that are still only starting to pay off. And it's, you can say the same thing about Thriller Bark, because Thriller Bark is also a setup for Wano as well. Drums, what's up? Hey. A theory we discussed internally was that Toki used her fruit to send a message by Odin into the future. Look up chapter 972. And that message was delivered as some sort of projection. Interesting. Uh-huh. Messages into the future. I would expect, but you see, like a message going into the future, right? From a writing standpoint, would sound pre-recorded. It would sound sort of stiff. This Odin is saying things as if they're looking at them, So
Savage.
It's that's tough. I think that this Odin is actually here, because if it was a message, Odin would probably come out and be like, "Hey guys, I'm not really here, but there's something I need to tell you, this and this." So for this, no, I'm thinking it's a Conjurer drawing. We've been shown, like when we came back from the Odin flashback, Conjurer was on the boat having full conversations with everyone, looking like Conjurer. Got his head cut off, and then it was a drawing. So the power of Kanjuro is far-reaching. He is able to give his drawings autonomy. He's able to have them speak. He's able to have them move. He's able to control them on a really extraordinary, extreme level. Tamaz Weirchik.
Savage.
Cheers, Randy. Wano reaches 100 chapters next week. Yeah. And it won't be long before it actually surpasses Dressrosa as the longest arc. I think that happens in a couple of chapters as well. DJ BJ32.
Savage.
The Grand Fleet is at Wano with Bon Clay as Odin with more impel down prisoners. That'd be fun, but that's definitely not the case here, because we know that Bon Clay has to touch the cheek of someone. So the only way that would work is if the fruit, after being taken from Higurashi retained the memories of Higurashi's, touches and all of that. Now we know that as far as the anime is concerned, if anybody has watched the last episode, Higurashi is actually able to transform without touching their cheek, which seems like an awakened version of the Mane Mane, which Bon Clay has yet to be able to tap into. Bon Clay is forced to the initial stages of it, where they have to actually do the left hand right hand thing. Higurashi was just transforming. But since Bon Clay would have been, younger than 10 years old, probably, because I think they're in their early 30s. Would have been less than 10 years old when Odin died. They would have had to have been on Wano, which I guess, it would take a little bit of reaching and all of that, but then it begs the question of how did Bon Clay come in possession of the Mane Mane fruit, right? Is Bon Clay from Wano? And also left, like Odin. But there's no foreshadowing for that other than the fact that his fruit was on Wano with Higurashi. Yeah, I just don't see it as Bon Clay. Drums. What would happen if Bon Clay touches Otama's cheeks? They would be able to turn into Otama. Gianluca Angelini. Hey, moderators, have we discussed how Odin stood in the same pose as Katarina when he showed up? I'm going to have to take a look back at that, but, I mean, as far as I was concerned, when he first showed up in this and he had the silhouette, looked more like Kanjuro to me. And that even the length of his outfit, the broad shoulders, everything, other than the flat top hair, it really just looked like Kanjuro to me. DJ BJ32 again, thank you.
Savage.
Bon Clay could have met Odin on his journey like Roger meeting Frankie. Possibly. I mean, that's a possibility. I think it's more, if it was anything, it would be that Bon Clay was actually from Wano and then, ate the fruit after Higurashi died. But it's still a reach for me. Bon Clay was the MVP of Impel Down for sure. But don't sleep on Mr. 3 either. Mr. 3, was it's who made it possible that they were able to get away from Magellan. Which, brilliant writing from Oda, by the way. To have Mr. 3, who's one of my favorite characters, by the way, and even before Impel Down was one of my favorite characters. But to have someone who is viewed as worthless be able to counter at the time what we saw as the strongest character in the series, and I would still even put them in the top 5 because that power is just so broken. Talking about Magellan. Giovanni Velez, Bon Clay from Wano, yet doesn't use swords. Neither does Izo. Yeah. Projection type dials, asks Kagemusha. Did we see projection dials? I don't remember that. Very motivated. Mr. 3 also coming in clutch to help Luffy with Ace with the wax. Oh yeah, he was an MVP of Marineford for sure. Like probably the MVP because he got Ace out. We know what happened afterwards, but still, they would have never gotten him out if Mr. 3 wasn't there, and that was foreshadowed all the way back at Rain Dinners when they used Mr. 3 as the key for the prison there. So that was just, it's just high level, high quality, excellent chef's kiss writing from Oda. Great way to utilize his characters, you know. That's why he's the GOAT. You know, there's so many mangaka out there that forget about their characters and forget about, you know, the things that they've set up. But Oda does not. He does not. DJ BJ32 again. Thank you.
Savage.
Is Odin's return the lurking legend that Oda mentioned? I doubt it. I think that the lurking legend either referred to Emu or rocks. And the lurking legend could also not necessarily be a person, but could be the God Valley incident. And that, you know... But, I mean, if we want to talk about that and talk about things in the past, then, yeah, it could be Odin. But when you say lurking, you know, it kind of implies a more antagonistic thing. You know, I think of more of a... I think of more of a villain as a lurking legend rather than a hero character. You know, something that's like mysterious in the background, which is why, you know, I almost feel like it really is Emu, but that I'm open to the possibility of it being Rocks. But I also do not believe that Rocks is alive. So that's why I'm also more Team Emu for the lurking legend, because Emu is alive. So... Camel Boy 321, you think all Straw Hats will get a chapter title? That's interesting. That's interesting, because we did get Demon Child last week. We got Tanuki-san this week. Did Frankie get one when he was fighting... Oh, you know who also got a chapter title? Kibi Dango. Tama for Nakama. Silo Cash, Vivi is great. She did what she could wholeheartedly. Yep. That's for sure. That's for sure. She brought all the smoke to the table. Camel Boy 321. What's up with Onimaru? Can he transform? He can, but I mean, we never saw him transform into anything that wasn't Gyukimaru. You know, so I'm not buying into the Onimaru thing. I think that the Onimaru Gyukimaru story is done. I feel like that already had its like start, finish, and end. It had its start, middle, and end. That's it. Like, he fulfilled what Kawamatsu was supposed to do while he was in prison. That was it. That was the only reason that he transformed. It follows the folklore. There's nothing more for that. You know, I watched a theory that Joy Boy made where he was saying that, you know, Onimaru was going to come to Onigashima. I really don't think that that's going to happen. All right, the silhouette behind the rock was Tama. I'm 100% for that. It's not Onimaru. Onimaru is not on Onigashima. You know, unless that silhouette behind the rock was whoever the silhouette was in the storeroom. In which case, then it could be Toki, I guess, but... I don't know. I don't see Onimaru coming to Wano. Because like the other thing that is Onimaru's thing is to protect the graves and protect the swords and all of that. So I think that they're busy doing that. Someone needs to stay back and do that. DJ BJ32.
Savage.
Last super chat adding to the Diaper Fund. You know, I got to thank you, DJ BJ. You've been flexing on me this whole stream. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Gianluca Angelini. Randy, do you think we'll get another prison break? Luffy saving Hancock, Sabo, Bonchan. There's a possibility for it. I mean, Oda does rehash, past arcs. It's like everything pre-time skip has everything post-time skip has a pre-time skip sort of equivalent. If he was going to do that, there's going to be a something where it's flipped on its head. I could see if Oda was going to do Impel Down again, I think it would be a situation where Luffy was in Impel Down and captured and in level 6, and then the entire crew stormed Impel Down and the Grand Fleet or something and like completely dismantle the entire place to get Luffy out. That would be more interesting. I don't think that Hancock is going to go to Impel Down. I think that Hancock is going to return to being a slave for the Celestial Dragons because she's got the tattoo. So that's got to come back into the story. So I think that the Celestial Dragons are going to reclaim their property, and that's what's going to leave Luffy to it's going to give Luffy the impetus to actually go against the world government because Hancock gave him food. Yeah. Blonde Beard D. Fisk. Jack's not there yet. He's stuck in a time loop. Come on. How is Odin here after 20 years and Jack's not here after 5 minutes? Well, it's not really Odin. It's a Kanjuro drawing for sure. And Jack not being there, the story isn't for them to take out Jack. That's not what it's about. They got to take out Kanjuro. They got to take out Orochi. The only people that have something against Jack, realistically, are Nekomamushi and Inuarashi. So, if it's going to be them going up against Jack again, I'm okay with it. But I still see that it's going to be Yamato versus Jack. A fight for who is the true son of Kaido. But Sanji could also fight Jack, and that would be interesting. But, I'd rather see Sanji versus Perospero, Sanji versus Jack, then Sanji versus King, then Sanji versus Queen. But Sanji versus Queen is more likely than most of those on the list. Very motivated. Luffy freeing the slaves would be big Fisher Tiger vibes for sure, and that's totally within Luffy's character. He wants he's all about freedom, so he's gonna free those slaves. C. Marie Zuri, Randy Troy, yo, who do you like more or think who's more relevant, Vivi or Bon Clay? Most of my subscribers know the answer to this. Vivi. It's my favorite character in the series. But Bon Clay is a goat. And Vivi is more important to the series because, one, they are a Straw Hat. It's been confirmed by Oda that Oda still considers them a Straw Hat. She was like almost the main character other than Sabo for like the Reverie arc to begin with. So, and all of this stuff is about, everything that's going on in the world. Vivi is tied into it. Vivi's coming back. She's coming back. Alright, guys. Let's see. I'm going to take another look at the chapter here, see if there's anything else I want to talk about. We're approaching the 2-hour mark, so I'm going to probably end here in the next couple of minutes. But this has been fun. I think that this chapter was good, and I'm glad I didn't get spoiled at the end. And I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch my reaction to that because I saw a lot of funny stuff in the in the comments when I saw Odin. I'm not entirely like on board with this, but as long as it is a Kanjuro clone and like something interesting comes from it, like I'm gonna be with it. Again, my favorite part of the chapter so far is Chopper, channeling Hero Look to save everybody. I think that's great, and I'm glad that Chopper's getting some shine. I think that the Hyogoro stuff went on for way too long. I actually just noticed, I was looking at all the faces that everybody was making when, Chopper was like Tanuki Janai, but I didn't notice X Drake also did this. I saw the Marco one, and I thought that was funny, but I completely missed the X Drake one. That's great. That's great. There's a lot of implications for this Momonosuke thing. Momonosuke transforming in front of Yamato is going to have some positive ramifications for the story. The CP0 scene confirms some stuff. This Odin is not Odin, and it is not Katarina Devon, in my opinion. It is a Kanjuro drawing, and it may even be that Kanjuro drew on himself. Because it's like the length of the clothes is the same length that Kanjuro wears his clothes. Whereas Odin usually, frees the knees. So. Oh, wait. Why are you guys standing up?
Savage.
But yeah. So let's see. In the chat. Let me see if there's some last minute questions. Anything else? Otherwise, I'll see everybody for 1008. Let's see. I'm looking back at the chat now. Yamil Diaz next week, Jinbei. I hope so. He's the only person that we really haven't, explored now. I mean, I definitely want some more of Robin versus Black Maria, but Jinbei really needs some shine. Daniel A.N. Yo, Randy, love the vids, dude. Savage. Thanks, Daniel. I appreciate it. Thanks. Twilight Yonder 720. This 2-week break is going to be rough. 2-week breaks are always rough, but there have been more rough breaks than this, in my opinion. I don't like, again, I'm glad I didn't get spoiled on this, but this cliffhanger for me is like not that it's not like the mind-blowing twist that it is for probably some other people, because I kind of expected Conjurer to do this at some point. So I'm just like, okay, so we are doing this. That's kind of my mind with it. And I just would have preferred Oda to just pepper in some more information on it. You know, having Odin show up in the first place is like, you know, a what sort of moment in itself. So you might as well just tell us why now instead of going on a 2-week break. Yamil Diaz again, 10-10 for the rooftop. Probably. That's probably when we'll go back. Makes sense. Lucius Odin, Sanji going to the rooftop. I'd love to see it, but I think that Sanji's got some more Mr. Prince stuff to do down here. Chin ass stream next week. Maybe. What do you? If I did a stream next week, what would you guys want me to talk about? I mean, there won't be a chapter, so let me know in the chat, like, what kind of a stream you'd like to see. Twilight Yonder. I remember the Gear 4th 2-week break. Yeah, I remember the Saba Odi, everybody just got sent away 2-week break. That was the worst 2-week break. That was the worst 2-week break. When Kuma sent everybody away, it might have even been longer than the 2-week break, and that's why I remember it so much. I don't know. And then there was also like the full month before the time skip. That was rough too. Yeah. Bailel Afgul, do Wano OST as background music. I would have to find a good version of it. You know, I kind of like what I'm working with right now. I think it's, you know, it's nice, it's chill. I don't, I'm very particular about the music I use, and I also don't want to get a copyright strike. Galaxy, no predictions for the next chapter. Yeah, Ryo, I did read the chapter. Predictions for next chapter. I really think we have to get... so there's a couple of ways that it could go. My top thing is that we're not going to the rooftop until we see Jinbei and Who's Who clash a little bit. So I think that has to be what is going to happen for 1008. But since this is such a strange thing and a strange cliffhanger, could Oda go back to the rooftop? Maybe, but I think that he's still saving that for, you know, us to see everybody defeated and all of that. So he needs to set up all of the pieces, and we still don't know who Sanji's going to fight. So I think that also needs to be set up before, you know, let's say hypothetically 10-10 to go back to the rooftop. So we need to figure out where Sanji's going to go, whether that's Paraspero, Jack, or Queen, or King. But I think it's going to continue to be Marco versus King. Oda is a tease, so we can either get confirmation on what's going on with this Odin stuff, when we come back 2 weeks from now, which is what I think all of us want. I don't necessarily want this thread to continue lingering. I'd rather just get that squared moment where this version of Odin stabs a scabbard and takes him out. I'd rather just get that out of the way. But more than anything, we need some more interaction between Jinbei and Who's Who. And I think that's what 1008 is going to be. Excuse me. One Net Ota. What arc do you think's next? I mean, we have to go to Elbaf at some point. So it's either that or, if whatever's going on in the Reverie leads us back towards Marineford again or something, that's another possibility. Let's see. FDE4L. Why would an enemy bandage the scabbards? Because that's not the person who bandaged them. Odin is not the one that bandaged them. It was Toki. The renowned and fabled Shavivi inherited devil fruit from Alabas. I would love to see Vivi have a devil fruit. Oh, now I'm seeing the part of the chat where everybody was seeing what saying what I should do for another stream, next week. Talking about old school theories. Yeah, that's not a bad one. That's not a bad idea. Favorite One Piece movie moments? Okay. Yeah. Not a lot of those. Mostly from the the last couple of movies for sure. What if we go back to the Reverie next chapter? I'd lose my mind. Lucy B, thank you.
Savage.
Next week's stream, you could talk about old school theories because I've been a fan since 1999. Maybe there are some I never heard. Okay, yeah, I'll think about that, and I've been meaning to do something like that, and I'll probably try to put together a little bit of a list or something, or maybe I'll even do a tweet thing, maybe similar to how Brago did it. He was like, what are the moments that you just had to be there for? And see everybody, what people comment on Twitter as far as what are some of the old theories that I remember a bunch of them from Arlong Park back in the day and all of that, but I mean, I'm sure if I do it on Twitter, I'll mostly get some from the past 3 or 4 years, but I'll go back to. I'll certainly be talking about a lot of stuff from the 2000s for sure. Yeah. Who healed the scabbards? Asked Vase. Toki. Or Hiyori, but most likely Toki. Tetsuo, do I think there will be another time skip? I hope so. I want everybody to train and learn hockey. I want that. Doesn't have to be 2 years. 2, 3 months. Yeah. Enter a name. Thank you.
Savage.
Rough guess how many panels Kinemon crying in? Well, at least one in this particular chapter. I've never noticed that Kinemon is a crier like that. Is that what you're getting at? That Kinemon cries a lot? Because I don't think it's that many. AJ1218, best One Piece theories. Gin, the hundreds of theories about Gin. Oh, we'll be talking about Gin next week if that's what we're doing. Is that what we're gonna do? We're definitely gonna be talking about Gin because we've been talking about Gin for 20 years. 20 years. Giovanni Velez, Vivi eats the Yuki Yuki no Mi, having irony from Desert Kingdom, having snow powers. I actually talked about that in another stream or another video because someone asked me, like, if Vivi could eat a fruit, what would I think? And that was actually the answer I said. I said that it would be funny if she ate the snow fruit because she's from a Desert Kingdom. So, great minds thinking alike. Chin, some fan older than Randy. I mean, if Lucy B has been following since 1999, right when it came out, then yeah, Lucy B's been with the series like probably like 2 years longer than I have. Because I was like 2001, 2002. Kisley, maybe a pre-recorded projection into the future using Toki's Devil Fruit somehow. That's why he said everyone aged. Maybe that's what Odin asked Toki before death in chapter 972. I'm going to have to look back at 972, but Drums, aka Cup, was bringing that up also, and that seems to be a theory that a lot of the guys over at TCB think. I'm going to have to see what the official says because I want to look at multiple translations to see like if that's the case. Because right here, this does not sound like a pre-recorded message to me. It sounds like someone that is looking at them. I mean, you know, there is definitely something to be said that he's saying everybody aged when clearly some of them have not. But, you know, the other lines that are being said... You know, you guys look like you've taken a beating. You know, that's the key line that makes me think, nah, this isn't a pre-recorded message. This is just Kanjuro playing with their minds. Very motivated. Thank you so much.
Savage.
Got to get back to work, but here's one for Chrissy and Mars. Hope your family is doing well. Thanks for the music. Heads up. Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely check out Stysmus. Comforts me quite a bit. I love it. I've been putting it in a lot of the videos. So it's great. Thanks for dropping by. All right, everybody. I think I'm gonna go. We still have 277 people here at the max. You know, we had almost 600 people. It was great. It's been a while since we had this many people in the streams. Usually we get about like 300-400. Which it still blows my mind that, you know, more than 20 people come to see what I want to talk about here or anything. But it's cool. It's cool. I'm gonna put that thing on Twitter. I'm gonna see what people say. I'm gonna think about, you know, a stream for next week. I'll try and put together a list throughout the week of you know, old theories to talk about. You know, mostly probably just freestyle and kind of remember how things were, but you know, it'll mostly be like a hangout sesh, I guess, because we're not gonna have a chapter. So, and we'll just talk about what everybody wants to talk about in the chat. But I do have to. I'm gonna go check on my boy. But thanks again, everybody that came by. You know, drop a like, hit subscribe if you're not subscribed. Drop a comment on the thing when it goes live. You know, and I'll message you back. And probably after the official comes out, I'll try and do a review, put something out, and hopefully over the next week or two, now that we have a break, I'll try and put some edits on the live action part 4, since I know there's not going to be a chapter next week. You know, maybe that's another thing that I can try and get out if I have some free time. The last 2 weeks were busy, but now I'm back to having a little bit of time, but that can always change. But I hope everybody's doing well. Stay safe, everybody. And Kagemusha, Randy, aren't you going to address how Power Scaler is going to say now the Chopper's on a commander's level? I think I talked about that a little bit earlier. But yeah, Chopper's second commander level for sure. Put some respect on my man. Twilight Yonder 720. Did I see the new live action Going Merry pic? I did. I put it on Twitter. It's coming along. You know, I did the video when it was just the ship and all that, and then people were like, "No, that's not the Going Merry." And then, sure enough, you know, now Luffy's seat is obviously attached to it. Yes, it's the Going Merry. You know, it takes at least 4 months to build a ship. So you're going to see it at different stages of its life, you know. And the wrapping that it has around the head and all of that is done to preserve the mold. So, you know, no one's really going to see what the face looks like. It's not even to hide the fact that it's Going Merry. It's done to protect it from the weather and from the elements and all that. And when they actually go to shoot, they'll remove that, and then at the end of the day, they'll probably, you know, put another covering back on that. And the reason the ship is so large is to accommodate cameras and things like that. And there's still other elements that I'm sure they've got to, you know, the mast still has to get put on. You know, eventually they're going to have to put the garden area where Nami's going to have the mikan trees. So yeah, if you haven't seen it, you know, look it up. It looks almost finished. It looks great. It looks great. So get excited for the live action, guys. Chin, even Frankie took like a week to build the Sunny. Yeah. To save it for my video? Well, the video is not going to be on the ship, so I'm just getting that out there because I've already talked about the ship. The live action part 4 is about the casting, so you're going to get all new stuff in that video anyway. All right, guys, I'm going. But I really appreciate everybody that came by. It's a lot of fun, always is. And I'll see everybody soon. Later.
Savage.